Welcome back to F&W Game Club's coverage of E3. This is our reaction to the ubiquitous software press conference. Ubiquitous.
Yeah.
Ubisoft has copyright struck us a couple of times, so
Thanks a lot for nothing, jerks.
yeah. So we're still covering this press conference because we're loyal to you, but we're not a big fan of the fact that how they've treated us this week. But whatever. Moving on.
It's not
we're
like
gonna
anybody
be big
cares
about
about the little guy.
Yeah. So yeah, this is the Ubisoft press conference. You know, obviously it started with the Mario and Rabbids, but let's come back to that later because nobody likes Rabbids except for
this
Chris.
is funny. Watch.
Okay.
He's gonna eat the mushroom.
Oh my gosh, you got huge.
Have you had a nickel?
Like
That's-
it's stupid, but it makes me laugh.
That's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah.
I gotta hand it to him for that. Dang it! I'm falling back in love with you.
With
can't I
Ubisoft,
quit
not Chris.
you?
Yeah.
We got Stockholm syndrome going on here. Anyway, let's jump over to 3030. I thought we're gonna cover most everything because they had a lot of good stuff. And I figured, oh, is this 3030?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's 3330.
And you haven't switched the video actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, 3030 is
Oh,
when they
that's
talk
why.
about South Park
James wants to talk about his beloved South Park.
because I freaking love South Park because South Park's the best. Stick of Truth was awesome. The follow-up looks like it's going to be just as awesome. This is the Fractured Butthole South Park game. It's superhero themed, unlike the first game, which was like Lord of the Rings themed, I guess you'd call it. You know, elves and mages and stuff. Comes out October 17th if they keep the date this time.
That won't happen.
The best part about it was just funny, right? You guys laughed. And that was the best part about the first game. When I played The Stick of Truth, I picked it up fully expecting to laugh for about an hour or two and then kind of get over the jokes and just play through the rest of the game. But that wasn't like that at all. I laughed from beginning to end. It was about a 10-hour RPG experience that was hilarious every freaking minute. I cannot wait to play the follow-up. It looks like it's going to be just as funny. Did you notice that they really, not just in this trailer, but throughout the whole conference, they went out of their way to swear a lot?
Yeah,
Like-
they did.
Like I got no problems with 4-letter words, but it was just odd how much they were trying to like.
Look how edgy we are.
Yeah, it's like an 18-year-old who can now swear in front of his parents and is overdoing it. Like that's what it felt like. But anyway, yeah, looking forward to the South Park game. It's as cool as I love where Timmy is
Professor X.
is Professor X speaking with his mind. That was such a good part in the video. Okay, let's move on. Chris, what's the second thing we're going to talk about? See, I made a list on my list here, and now I can... Oh, here it is. Jump to 4930. This is continuing with South Park. So not only are they coming out with a new full-fledged game, but this is the first time I've heard that they're coming out with a mobile game.
This is over in my department of expertise. Probably going to have a left-to-right scrolling adventure. I'm just kidding.
No, take over. Take over.
No, you're good.
Josh, you got this.
You can describe it.
Well, I don't even know what it is. I'm assuming it's similar gameplay mechanics to the Stick of Truth, the Fractured Butthole. Why don't you skip like 10 seconds or something? And but it's the same humor. There it is. Same style. Instead of heroes, instead of Lord of the Rings, it's everything. So it starts. We're gonna do cowboys and Indians, but then like nobody wants to only do cowboys and Indians. Like all these other styles of or genre characters start pouring in. Gonna look through some of these. These are really funny. The Native Americans, well, that's cowboys and Indians, but then there's like gonna be cops later,
Buccaneers,
knights, princesses, bards. That was the best part with the bard. Choir boy, clerics, angels. I like how it's a real cop for cops. Anyway, so
and pigeons.
I don't know what this is really going to be, but I think this is the first cell phone game I've ever been excited to play. It's called The Phone Destroyer.
What's the price point for you? That
I would pay $10.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I mean, if it's good, right?
Yeah,
$10.
no.
I mean, people paid $9.99 for the new Mario game on that dumb cell phone.
I did not.
A lot of people did.
Yeah, they're stupid.
Yeah, they might.
RJ.
Oh, okay. Call them out. Chris, let's go ahead and skip to 57:41.
Yeah.
Or even actually, why don't you skip to 1 hour, 1 solid hour, 1:00:00. This is Far Cry 5. Of course, this was already revealed, but now they went really in depth with the gameplay, like the way it's going to play itself. A lot of cool things. What was some of the best things you guys like?
I really like the dog that's gonna get me guns to kill people.
Yeah, right. You get a
Fangs for hire.
Guns don't kill people. My dog brings me guns to kill people.
I don't.
They missed a really quintessential step in that equation.
Yeah, they kept on saying for hire, so I don't know if that was just them. I don't know if it was just rhetoric or if they're actually suggesting that like you have to purchase NPC friends. So like kind of.
Are you saying I can't get any real friends, James?
No, you can't.
It might be like the other Far Cry games where you kind of have to earn them.
Yeah. They also had an NPC character who joined you. I didn't catch her name. Lady who looked like she was on the sniper rifle, or at least shooting from a distance. Had the dog that Josh mentioned that was bringing weapons and ammo to you, collecting while you were, shooting out with
You got an
everybody.
airplane friend.
Yeah, an airplane friend who came and dropped bombs, or was it fire? I can't remember now. It's a little bit later in the video. Definitely dropped something on the playing field, on the fighting field, and co-op.
Yeah, I'm really excited for co-op.
I think Far Cry 4 had co-op, right, Chris?
Yeah, Far Cry's had co-op for a while.
Yeah.
Now, has it ever been couch co-op, or is it always just online co-op? Because I don't remember.
Grace Armstrong.
I think it was just online.
Okay, well, I'm hoping for some couch co-op action. Because online co-op is cool and all, but
Because you're the only person in the world who does.
I'm the only person in the world that likes to hang out with his friends in person. What's wrong with the rest of the world? What's
I don't
wrong
know.
with all of you guys?
Boomer thinks you should die, though. So.
Some
Boomer?
of us don't like playing
Name of
on
that
half a
dog.
screen.
I was kind of laughing at how, they're trying to...
That's why you made 5 of them.
Exactly. You think I would have give up half a screen?
This seems to be
precious real estate
Ubisoft's...
is to me?
This seems to be Ubisoft's criticism of sort of the direction of rural America, but looks pretty awesome to me.
I'm super curious, and this might just be the pet,
When are you moving
the
there,
pet
Chris?
study in this.
When am I starting it, you mean?
I'm curious to see how the storyline mixes in, like the nationalism with the religion. Like I'm really, as somebody who kind of studies that or whatever, I'm really excited to see if they actually kind of formulate some type of legitimately good narrative to go along with the awesome rural killing.
I'm just like, this is what it feels like to have a video game company sort of appropriate your culture and religion for the sake of a video game.
Yeah.
It's always other countries and other religions.
We're always doing it to other people.
Yeah. Finally, it's happening to America. We probably deserve it.
And I gotta say, I feel kind of good. Yeah, like I don't. Well, okay,
they represent us really well.
Yeah.
I
I'm
literally
pretty-
spend all day beating people up in the streets,
Absolutely.
just trying to collect guns off other people I see. Pickpocket them and.
You
Call
see
in
my dog's
dogs.
fetch? Yeah.
All right, let's move on here. What was the fourth thing we're going to talk about? See, this is not a very good organization. I thought numbering things would be good.
You gonna do the pirate game?
Yeah, pirate game. The 3510, Chris. 3510. This game is called Skull and Bones. I believe this was a premiere. I don't think they've shown this off before.
Yeah, I haven't seen it anywhere.
It's basically Black Flag, the pirate ship only game.
Yeah. It's like half of Black Flag.
Right, because you can't even...
It
As
looked
far
like
as
you
I
couldn't
can...
even do hand-to-hand combat, right?
Yeah, that part really bothered me.
Lame.
Because
It just said boarding successful, and it's like, all right.
Yeah. That's like literally the part I'd always be after is the boarding part, right?
Yeah.
That seems to be... That should be the nugget that you're
The
after.
sword fighting.
The sword fighting. Hopefully they add that later. I don't think they're going to.
But it was-
I'm just parroting everything you say, Chris.
Well, and who knows what it really is, because they just showed us like one game mode and a whole bunch of cutscene
yeah.
prettiness.
I really like the idea of being able to harness the elements. That seemed like a really fun new little thing. But if you can't, that was all predicated on the assumption that I could get out and walk around and stab people.
I
And
really
if
like the
you
part
can't
where
do
I
that,
called up the Kraken. All right, that didn't happen.
Well,
having a battering ram for your ship is pretty cool, though.
they said it was 5 versus 5 PvP, and what I noticed while watching the gameplay element is that it was 5 ships versus 5 ships. So I definitely think you can't go individual because it looks like each player is just a ship, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what it
I mean,
looked like?
I guess, would they say 2018 this comes out?
Yeah.
Next year.
So,
Next fall.
yeah, I guess we'll just have to keep guessing until
don't-
next E3 when they
But-
actually show what it is.
I mean, I
Ugh.
honestly, if I was them, I would delay it a year and add like being able to just be a person and hop onto the other ships.
This is the
Hear
one
that,
thing,
Ubisoft?
this is the one thing I do appreciate about Bethesda is like,
But-
they're like, oh, here's all these great games. By the way, they're out next month.
Yeah.
Everyone else is like, yeah, coming soon, someday.
At some point, yeah. Here's a
Yeah.
game we showed off the last 3 E3s. or
Yeah.
whatever, yeah.
Here's a couple of things that might be in the game.
Yeah. They called this a tactical action game. You have to use the wind and the weather and the elements to your advantage.
And heart and sea.
But like, I don't know why I would play
Captain
this.
Planet. Sorry, go
If
ahead.
they don't have like the swashbuckling and getting out and sword fighting and all that, why wouldn't I just go play Black Flag again?
And blackjack.
Chris, once you before we're done with this, why don't you jump to 39:45 because that's what maybe make it 40 even because that's where there's actual gameplay. Some of the things we're mentioning is there in. So there's the 5 players as 5 different ships who are going to face off against 5 other ships that are presumably 5 other players. And what you'll not see though is the captain ever coming off the wheel, which is kind of what I was waiting for the whole time. I was waiting
Is this
for
the one
him.
where you can launch yourself out of the cannon?
No. I was waiting for him to smack into another ship, get off the wheel, hop over to the other ship, and start killing NPCs. And that didn't happen. So I don't know. I'm not sure how excited I am about this.
Water looks great.
I guess we can criticize this because screw Ubisoft anyway because they keep copyright striking us.
That'll help.
They did mention that the ships have different classes, so it's not like 5 like normal ships. There's like
5 classes: lame, stupid, dumb.
But seriously, one was like doing distance shots from afar.
Battle ram ship.
One was
That's a
battle
ram ship.
Yeah, ramming other ships. One was
Yeah.
kind of like your overall tasks ship. You know, kind of a master of none.
Switch that thing.
Yeah. What?
Oh, the thing.
Yeah, just switch that thing.
Mortars away.
And of course, they teased at the very end of all this, which we probably won't get to, but they teased sea monsters.
And a Captain Jack skin.
You know what though? If this was, do you remember Sid
Did they?
Meier's?
No. I'm just
Okay.
kidding.
Do you remember Sid Meier's Pirates?
Yes.
That was a fun game.
If this is like a new updated version of that with multiplayer, it will be the greatest game ever.
Okay.
And kaboom! Kablamo!
Because Sid Meier's Pirates was fun.
Let's get to something that we can all appreciate at least slightly more, and that's Assassin's Creed. Chris,
Can you
why don't
pull
you
up
jump
Sid
us over to...
Can you just go to the gameplay?
Yeah, well, go to 1:13. Hour 13.
You can just leave it on an hour. 10.
Yeah, that's fine right there. So, this is this was actually after the conference. Once the conference finished, they told everybody to hang out and watch some gameplay footage of Assassin's Creed. It starts, of course, with the bird. He's using the bird to tag people.
To poop on
Frenemies.
people?
Yeah. Are you?
The bird tags people. I love it.
I want to get
Just
a sense
like
of things.
real life.
Do you like this trend of open world games using animals as technology? It kind of bugs me. What do you guys think?
As long as it can fetch me guns.
It depends on if it's consistent with, like, how mystical are they going to make the world that we're in here?
Well, I don't know. He's a medjay, so
Right? I mean, it has to be fairly mystical. Otherwise, if that's like the only magic thing in the world, it's kind of like,
What? It's like the Beastmaster.
yeah, it's like everything else. Well, the Beastmaster was a magical world,
Yeah, that's true.
but it's like everything else in the world is realistic, except for you can occasionally see through the eyes of an eagle.
Maybe Assassin's Creed should do a prequel to this prequel that goes 10,000 years back, and it's just Beastmaster.
This is just stupid to me, this game.
What?
And
Bro.
just in
We're
general.
really beating up on Ubisoft.
No,
today.
let me tell you, because they have officially moved away from the one thing that made this series as incredible as it was. That, like, we sat, I don't know if you remember.
Semi-accurate history?
Just when we sat in the room, Chris, we read, like, every single tag that would come up during the Templar era when we played it. What was that? Assassin's Creed 2 or whatever it was? With Ezio?
Yeah, that's two.
Yeah, and so, like,
It's
just
a 2 trilogy.
But I mean, just sitting there and reading all of the history stuff was partly what made the game so sick, and the attention to historical detail. And now you've just combined like this weird. You're in 250 BCE. Okay, that's cool.
All right, let's say some cool things, because I did like a few things about this
It's cool
game.
when he kills the lion.
That's coming up pretty soon,
Yeah.
actually. So they talk about how loot has rarities. So the weapons have different rarities, and the more rare a weapon, the more it comes with properties that will change up gameplay. So I think later on they pick up a shield, and not only does the shield upgrade your defenses, but it comes, because it's a more rare shield, it comes with a property that every time you defend an attack, it gives you adrenaline. And in this game, adrenaline is kind of spent to do special moves. So you can see how that would change up the gameplay using that shield. And giving up that shield would probably, you'd have to want to give up adrenaline points to that and adrenaline moves. So I think that's an interesting way to mix things up. It's not straightforward upgrading. It's how are you going to how will the various items you're equipping work together to create your gameplay feel. Am I making sense, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Chris?
It's one of those things where if they do it well, it's going to be great, and if they do it clumsily, it's going to be awful.
Likely.
Yeah.
It'll be great or it'll be awful. There's not going to be like, oh yeah, it's kind of cool.
There's another thing I really liked.
Balance.
I don't know if I wrote it. I did jump over to 1:18:20, and as you do that, I'll explain why. So anybody who played Final Fantasy X should remember that the way they had a skill tree, but instead of it being a tree, it was like a spread out graph. And what you could do is you could sort of move through the graph in any direction you wanted to upgrade the characters as you pleased. And they've brought that kind of mechanic here. Here is the skill tree. You might call it the skill graph. And the way you move through the graph is up to you. You can totally bypass things. You can totally stick to one area of the graph. Like, let's say you're all about the stealth. Well, you might want to migrate over to the stealth corner of the skill tree and just upgrade everything there and create a stealth, powerhouse.
Master.
Or if you like getting out the sword and just sword fighting everybody, move over to the warrior side of, or whatever they're going to call it, of this graph and start upgrading that. Or maybe get a little bit of this, a little bit of that, move over here, move over there. And I think that's a cool way of doing an upgrading, right? Like, not kind of, it's almost like open world graph upgrading. What do you think? How does that compare to the previous Assassin's Creed games, Chris?
So like the last one, you had skills you could upgrade, and you could go between the twins, which was kind of interesting, and they had different features, and it did add different moves and different abilities, and it was good, but I don't know, the whole Assassin's Creed thing. Like, I'm a big fan. I've been a fan since the beginning.
Yeah.
But I just, for some reason, I'm having a hard time getting excited here. I'm not sure why.
Yeah. Is it the environment being so deserty and rocky and
maybe part of it? Maybe it looks like they're moving away from the historical
so
restrictions a little
Josh.
bit. Because we don't know as much about the period, right?
Right.
I mean, we can't. It was so long ago.
Right.
So I'm sure that they will stick to what they can historically.
Yeah. It seems, based on what I saw on the map, the names of the towns, I happened to actually do some studies on some of this, seems to be between Alexander and the Roman Empire. So in between, so after the Greek Empire, the proper Greek Empire, they said it's during the Ptolemaic period, which is when the Greek Empire divided into four. One of those four was the Ptolemies. But before the Romans come, which would be about maybe 100 or 150 years after this moment in time, roughly. So... it's a era in history where we have a pretty good framework for the way it was,
right?
But not like great detail,
right? And that was one of the things that was so great about the other Assassin's Creed games
to
was
detail,
the conspiracies and the political intrigue,
right?
That was tied to real life events.
Yeah,
and we know a little bit about that. I mean, you would know better than I. From that era.
Well, we would honestly we'd know a whole lot more if it wasn't for the Western Crusaders coming into this area and burning down all the libraries when they did. That's our fault. I mean, Western society.
Tomato.
Western society came in during the Crusades and burned all of their history records, and so we lost a lot because of that. Not everything, of course, but a ton of information.
Yeah. So, but it was really one of the fun things about Assassin's Creed. You're running around. You're like, oh look, here's Leonardo da Vinci and. Here's Machiavelli, and even in Syndicate, you meet Charles Darwin and all these things, and these people that we have all their writings still, and we read about them and we know about them, and there's just not going to be as much of that. And so that's a little disappointing to me, but maybe that's just me.
Now, I've not significantly played an Assassin's Creed game since Black Flag. I really fell in love with Black Flag, and when they went back to more traditional Assassin's Creed style, which is being in cities, I didn't really follow. But was it still true in the later games that you could pretty much assassinate, kill anybody, any NPC, if you got close enough?
Pretty much.
Okay, because they were making a big deal in this that's not possible anymore. That various NPCs have different levels of challenge. They're different levels, and if a character is too above you. You can come up and do an assassination, but all do is take some power away from him, and then you're stuck in a fight.
Yeah, so the older Assassin's Creeds, or in all the Assassin's Creeds, pretty much, if you got the stealth kill, it was always a one-hit kill.
Right. So that's not possible anymore. If you want that, what you have to do is A, upgrade your character towards stealth abilities, B, put on gear that's going to help you with stealth kills, and basically fashion and craft your character towards that sort of ability set. Of course, by doing that, they didn't say, but I presume that by doing that, you're going to lose the chance to upgrade other abilities. Like maybe you won't be as good in a fight, like an open fight, because you upgraded your stealth so much.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays out, because that was one of the things that rewarded stealth, right? If you knew you were going to get a one-hit kill if you stayed stealthy, then it would behoove you to stay stealthy.
Always entice you.
Yeah. And if that's gone,
it could either backfire.
Yeah.
It could be really, really bad. Unless it's cool when he.
It gives you an incentive to upgrade your stealth side of things, but at the same time, it might take away incentive to play stealthy.
Take that right in the butt.
It's funny how the guy that played this game just wanted to kill all the animals.
Yeah.
Except a kitten. He didn't
Hippos are mean, man.
You might want to just for the
animal in Africa.
Just to see it. Why don't you switch over to an hour 34 even?
That hippo looks hungry.
That's a hungry hippo.
Man, sliced him right in the butt.
In 134, we get an
spank.
example of him using some of his adrenaline points to pull off a special move, and it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
So let's see this. So this is an example of the adrenaline getting used.
About
So he's
to be
finding this big guy.
skewered.
He's built up some adrenaline, and then he pulls off an adrenaline move any moment here. Here it comes. Boom. Oh. And then he takes the spear out the other side. That is such a cool move, and that's how he kills the guy.
And then he's got one more coming up.
So
right through the neck.
So these guys look like they could be Greek, right?
right. And so the way he did that was because he had equipped that shield that helped him build up adrenaline. And then that adrenaline helped him do these fatalities, essentially, these ending moves.
So props to them for trying to do something new with a 10-year-old series.
Yeah, for sure. You know, they did. I mean, hopefully this turns out well. But if it doesn't, they did the right thing by taking a break and really thinking through the next iteration, the next game. You might want to also skip to 135.40 where we get an example of climbing, and they made a big deal here that you're no longer going to see handholds. Like you're not going to know, oh, I can climb here because there's handholds. Instead, they want you to be able to climb everything. Like the idea that something couldn't be climbable doesn't make sense to them. That you should be able to climb anything you see, any kind of surface. So, and here's a nice view. Here's the power of the Xbox One X for this. As you noted before, Chris, what was your impression?
Right, it looks, excuse me, it looks nice, but it wasn't blowing me away.
Right.
But like you pointed out, the draw distances are fantastic.
It's detailed to a pretty far distance. So that seems to be for this game what the benefit of the extra power is. It's just having more on the screen at once. Not necessarily those things looking better, but just having more of it. Which, that's fine with me. I like having a nice draw distance. I like being able to see it
helps the immersion for sure.
Right. Like look how far some of that detail goes. I mean, you would have those mountains in the background, let's say on the Xbox One or on the PS4.
You'd have a lot more fog.
Right. But there'd be a lot more fog. There'd be a lot less trees. It'd be more like a green blur, and like a brown blur going off in the distance instead of seeing all of these individual items. And that's kind of the way Assassin's Creed works, right? They build the games for the bottom line, and then they just upgrade them they seem to upgrade them for the other consoles as they need. Doubt this game will come to the Switch though, right? Did they ever mention the Switch for this?
Really like that thing to die a slow, painful
maybe
death.
In 6 years.
Yeah, maybe in 6 years.
Once Nintendo launches its new platform.
Its next underpowered platform.
Yeah.
I think we've covered
Plenty of Assassins.
Into the palm fronds.
Yeah, I think that's it for Assassins. Let's move on.
Man, that would be such an uncomfortable landing.
You want the crew?
Number 6. Why don't we go to 50? And this is we're gonna kind of just hit a few things a bit more quickly now. Somewhere around here, they're showing off a game that turned out to be called Starlink.
Yeah.
And it seemed pretty. It's an accessory based. This is the one that was on the Switch, first of all.
Yup.
And
switch it up.
And it uses the NFC. Is that what it's called? NFC technology, when it's like the little short.
near field communication.
Yeah, that right. NFC. It uses the NFC technology on the controller, and what you do is, it's actually using actual. You actually have to buy ship parts, little plastic ship parts,
So there's a picture of it. Let me see if I can.
and
pull
make
it up.
custom ships that you then sort of plug into the controller, and then it comes into the game. They said you don't really have to do that. They kind of quickly mentioned you could just do it all digital, just buy the digital parts. But obviously what they're trying to do here is create the new collect everything game. We've seen this with like the Lego game and the Spyro game, whatever that's called. Do you remember what those games are called? Like the one with Spyro?
No, I didn't play any of those.
But basically collecting
My parents love me.
collecting real world parts, or like amiibos on Nintendo, collecting real world things that once you collect them, you can transfer them into the game.
If you ever buy any of
Which,
these
by the
games,
way,
we're
this-
not friends anymore.
By the way, the secret here is they already have to be in the game. So you're just buying something to unlock on your disc, which is very offensive if you think about it. But anyway,
You're stupid enough to buy this twice.
yeah. So this is, but it looked pretty cool. The idea of being able to physically alter the way your ship looks, and then those physical alterations go into the digital
Yeah,
game.
it's an interesting concept.
Yeah, it's definitely an addicting concept, right? This is the kind of thing where you go in thinking, oh, this will be fun, and then like $400 later, you realize you have a problem.
All right, what's next?
Man, you're done with that one. Okay,
Yeah.
Chris,
Well, it was a short video.
go to 1 hour, 3 minutes. So 10300. And this is the reveal of Beyond Good and Evil 2, which nobody knew that's what we were watching until they said so later. This is an odd one. I want you guys to take over on this. What is your impression of this?
I didn't play the first one.
I
So
didn't play the first
I
one
have no
either.
idea what's going on.
Yeah, but the
here.
first one would not set you up for any of this, honestly.
I just find this whole thing offensive.
It's weird, right?
I like little pigs. It's cool.
Well, first off, they didn't show us any actual gameplay for this.
Yeah. I love
Right.
that. Yeah, no.
I don't know what to
actual gameplay.
expect out of any of what's going on here.
It was basically like a cartoon.
I liked how every woman is a woman and every man is an animal
Yeah.
in this game.
Well, what do you think that game is trying to tell you?
Men
But
are
we don't
animals.
actually have any idea what the game is like.
Manimal.
Yeah, the original game was a lot of platforming exploration, and I believe you had a camera and you took photos of things. There wasn't a lot. There wasn't like gun shooting, or anything like that. It was a bit more. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. It doesn't matter. But it was kind of platforming adventure and with the camera. This
Like Pokemon
makes it
Snap.
seems like they're expanding it to universe exploration levels. Honestly, like later on they talk about taking their ship and exploring different planets and things like that. I have no idea where they're headed with this, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, like it was a very well done cartoon here they've given us, or
Yeah.
I don't know what you call it, cinematic.
By the way, constant theme of this conference was, man, can you guys just make movies with these computer graphics?
Yeah.
Not necessarily this game, but and the graphics are good here, but there's some things we saw that I was just like, man, I'd watch a movie of this. And why can't Hollywood do it this well?
And like this looks amazing graphics wise and everything, but I have no idea what this game is gonna be.
Yeah. In fact, let's talk about one of those games that also had great graphics. Switch over to 26 minutes flat, if you would, Chris. This is the footage after they showed the trailer for The Crew. This is when they start going into in-game. So for those who played The Crew or maybe didn't play The Crew, it was a open world driving game where they had kind of condensed the entire United States into a very large map where I don't know how long it would take to drive from corner to corner, maybe 30 minutes. But they had 4 major areas. There was like your mountainous Rockies area. You had your western sort of plains area, and then you had the south, and of course like more cityscapes for the northeast. And it felt like you had distilled the major zones of the United States of America into a map. And you would sort of take on missions that were all driving related and had you racing here to there or delivering that to this. And it was all sort of driving, obviously. And the reason it was called The Crews because you could actually set up, you and your friends could have a crew of drivers and play together in sort of a co-op tribe sort of crew throughout the continental United States. And the way they're expanding it for The Crew too as they explained, is it's no longer just driving sports vehicles. Obviously, they're there though, but also airplanes, also off-road vehicles into like mountainous areas, also boats. It was the boating that got me, right, Chris? Wasn't that really?
Yeah,
good?
the boating looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it was really
All
cool.
the boat scenes.
In fact, before we stop talking about this, can we skip over to the boating scenes? I just want to ogle that. Maybe just jump like 20 seconds.
We'll watch the cars for a minute, and then I'll pull up the boats.
All right. You're liking the cars?
Well, it keeps something on screen.
Yeah, keep something on. Oh, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, but it was, here's the off-roading stuff. That was one of the big differences is there was a lot of mountains and mountainous regions in the first game, but you really couldn't drive up them. You could only drive to them. You were mostly in flatter areas.
I'm so getting this game. It looks amazing, doesn't
just for
it?
the boating.
I mean, just all of it. It just looks absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I every once in a while I
Can you kill people?
I don't think so. I don't think it's that kind of a game. It's more about the racing, really. It's an open
So they
world
just took
racing
the best
game.
part of GTA and made a whole game around it.
Maybe with better mechanics than
Yeah,
GTA,
yeah.
obviously, because GTA is just okay driving mechanics. Let's move on. That was the crew. Number 9 on our list. Oh, okay. Mario Rabbids. You can go to 10 minutes flat. That's when they started showing the combat.
It just took 10 minutes to actually get to...
Yeah. They didn't actually show any gameplay in this conference until 8 minutes, 20 seconds. And then just at that point, they're just exploring the world. So people have been wondering what this Mario Rabbids game is going to be. It's obviously Mario is from Nintendo, but this is a Ubisoft-made game. So that's a pretty unique experience that Nintendo is letting not just a second party, a third party, another publisher develop a game with Mario in it. And
Smart idea on their part.
Miyamoto, one of the creators of Mario, came to sort of introduce this game. You can see why Nintendo let them do it, because it's not a platformer. It's pretty looking. You're exploring town.
Yeah, but it doesn't compete directly.
Right. There's no platforming. And when it comes to the actual mechanic of the game, it's a real-time... not real-time, it's a turn-based strategy game.
Yeah, it's like a Final Fantasy game.
It's a Final Fantasy Tactics game.
Yeah.
A turn-based strategy game. There doesn't seem to be classes in it, but there is loot and gear, and I guess that's how you customize the characters to have different skills. They weren't very clear on some of this. Skills and abilities. It stars... and there's more than... You get to pick out of a whole roster of characters who you want to use. So here we have Mario and Princess. Or you have Mario, Luigi, and then you have Rabbid dressed up as a princess and Rabbid dressed up as somebody else. But there's going to be more than just that. You can pick from a roster.
Is this a phone game?
No.
no. This is a Switch game.
I'm not a big fan of turn-based games, but I could see this one doing pretty well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you think it'll appeal to the kids?
I think so. I think there's a market segment that this will hit.
Yeah.
Would you play it?
No.
All
I
right.
mean, I'm not buying a Switch, so.
Yeah, that's... I don't know. Like I said, if this game comes out before the next Mario game, it probably has a chance. But post the new Mario, people will forget this pretty quickly, I think.
It's like they took a Mario Party game, game in Mario Party, and then just built the whole thing
But this
around
is
it.
the kind of, I think, the thing that's perfect for the Switch, right?
Crap.
No, I mean, I think for a mobile type thing,
Yeah.
it's like a...
it's a mobile game.
It's a slightly better than mobile games.
Yeah.
are.
It's somewhere
What are you
in
trying to
between
say?
the console and mobile space.
But I mean, it does a little bit more than you could probably do on your phone.
Yeah.
And so I think this really hits the mark for what the Switch needs.
Okay, we're going to switch to something that I'm not entirely sure what it is. They weren't clear. I didn't have a timestamp written down for this. Uh-oh. Maybe we won't switch to it. We'll just skip it. I was going to look at the Walter test case thing. It was some kind of movie VR experience with Elijah Wood. I don't even know what to say about it. I just thought we'd touch on it. But let's move on. Let's just skip it. Forget you, Elijah Wood. You're a great actor. That's it.
Pretty good in Harry Potter.
Go to 4640. This is when they talk about Just Dance. And I just wanted to see that. I'm really happy to see that Sub-Zero has given up fighting and murdering people. And now he is pursuing his dance career. That's pretty cool, right?
It's penance.
Yeah. He needs to freeze more, though. I mean, that would make sense, right? Given
They
his
still brought a yellow one out, too.
Yeah, so Scorpion could be with him.
Get over here.
And then the green one.
And then it gets really weird with like purple and red. and they like stop having good names to name them. You notice how like Mortal Kombat gave up on names after a while? They just started throwing consonants together. All right, moving on. We don't have anything. This is Just Dance. It's another Just Dance game. The women come out. That's kind of exciting. Go to 56 minutes, please.
Not reinforcing the stereotype of gamers at all there, James.
Well, Ubisoft, they're
Eating
supposed to be
Cheetos, staying woke.
So 56 minutes. This is Steep. This is a game that I believe already came out. It's kind of, I'm going to say open world skiing game. They were announcing the first expansion, which is Road to the Olympics, I think they called it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Road to the Olympics.
Yeah.
So
Pyeongchang.
for people who are really a big fan of Steep, this is more steep for you. It did look cool.
It's even steeper. Steep the expansion.
Just that
steeper.
crackdown analysis from F&W Game Club.
It's the steepest. Gonna steep you in more steep.
Oh, that's a hard crash, though.
Yeah.
The falls look pretty good.
Well, anyways, let's talk about what we always do. The first of all, best, most cringeworthy, and then we'll review. Chris, what was the best?
The best was how much gameplay footage they showed of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Right, I think that's a pretty gutsy move for an
Okay.
E3 thing to come out and be like, yeah, look, here's half an hour of gameplay of something that's not even out yet, where something could go wrong or whatever. It's a gutsy move for a developer to do.
Josh, what was your best?
Probably the blow pop dance scene.
Okay. All right.
That's all.
My best, here's a surprise for you, Josh. It was definitely the South Park mobile game.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. No,
I'm
I'm
super
excited for
excited
Far
for
Cry
that.
5. I take that back.
Okay, Far Cry. That's a good one, too. I almost said Far Cry 5. But
Yeah.
you know what? My face lit up when I saw that they're making even more South Park content, and it can be on my cell phone. That was the first time ever that I've been excited for a cell phone game.
Now you can neglect your family on a new platform.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be...
Yeah, no, it's not a joke. Yeah, I'm totally down. As one who is proficient in this world, I am totally down.
Yeah, absolutely. Cringeworthy. For me, the cringeworthy would have to be the game Skull and Bones. It looks so awesome, and everything. That was the pirate ship battling game. Everything about it looked awesome until I realized you can't get off the
Well, we don't
steering
know
wheel.
that yet. We don't know that yet.
As far as we can tell, based on what they have shown, you can only be the ships. And
Be the ship, man.
and what I want to do is I want to smash into a
Far
ship.
Cry 5,
and
The
then-
Rise of Christopher.
Yeah. I want to smash into a ship, jump off my ship, and kill NPCs. That's what I want to do. And the fact that they're missing that, at least so far, that's a big cringeworthy disappointment for me. What about you, Josh?
Well, on that note, it was strange to me that they had the female captain on that ship. There, not because it's bad to have women doing things in a video game, but just that was just
Historically inaccurate.
just a little bit strange.
We had Mary Reed and Bonnie.
Yeah, two. No, but
And that's
most,
the two they're focusing on.
most cringeworthy. I'd probably have to say, yeah, probably the blow pop dance.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
just like the most worthless. I don't know. That's all.
Okay.
I'd say
Chris?
most cringeworthy is the fact that nobody is taking a lesson from Microsoft. Right, this is what, an hour and a half conference? Hour
Right.
40 minutes? And you probably could have done the whole thing, even with the half hour of gameplay, you could have done the whole thing in like 45 minutes.
Yeah, if you just cut all the people slowly talking.
Yeah.
That's part of the problem is kudos to them for a lot of these people knowing two languages, but when they're speaking in a language that isn't their primary language, you speak a lot slower, right? That's because you're being careful, and that just really slows down.
Like,
the
I
pace
don't
of
even
everything.
care how they speak. I don't want to
Well, I
see
just
'em.
mean that it's. Well, I mean is it slows down the pace,
Yeah.
right?
I want that boom, boom, boom. Show me game.
Right,
Yeah, I don't even need somebody to introduce it. Have a cutscene introduce it.
right.
You don't even need to send people to E3. Just send a reel.
Right.
Which would be really nice.
Just send an MP4 with everything. Tell someone to hit play, and I'm good.
Yeah. Okay, let's review this. 1 out of 10. Despite some slow moments with people speaking, I definitely really liked what I saw here. It wasn't as good as the Microsoft press conference, but it was a heck of a lot better than the Bethesda one, in my opinion. And so I'm gonna put this at an 8. I would say an 8.5.
Chris?
I give it a 5 out of 7.
Thanks for screwing up the system, Chris.
I'm gonna give it a 4.
Out of 10.
Yep, out of 10.
Why?
Two things: copyright strikes for one, but also for the Assassin's Creed footage.
Were you trying to get third one?
Just the Assassin's Creed thing did not. I'm not into it.
Thanks for being helpful, guys.
No, I'm being dead serious. That's how I genuinely feel. I genuinely dislike the Assassin's Creed direction.
Dead serious.
I really think Assassin's Creed is dumb.
All right, with that one,
You're dumb.
why don't you switch us back to the dancing while I say, please like and subscribe. Even though Ubisoft stung us this week, we still were loyal enough to cover the press conference,
Dancing
so
Panda.
you guys can check it out.
Well, and they only turned off our monetization,
Yeah.
which wasn't much anyway.
Yeah, it's just not nice to see somebody. I mean,
Like everyone else is being cool.
yeah, everybody else is being cool, but it was also they did it immediately. So obviously, it's just a computer program out there sniping people. That's what it really is, which is not good business practice. But I hope you guys enjoyed this roundup of the Ubisoft news. We're gonna continue to cover E3 later today. It's gonna be Sony. We're gonna do a bunch of video games, some today, a bunch tomorrow. Thanks for joining and watching. Have a great day.